Let me tell you a story that still sends chills through my body. It's the night I'll never forget, January 3rd, 2025. She started like every other night, but little did Sarah know that her curiosity would lead her into something far darker than she could have ever imagined. Sarah was driving alone through the remote countryside. It was quite foggy, the air very icy, car headlights barely slicing through into the mist. Hushed tales would go round and round regarding that house out at the periphery of the town, old, abandoned for a long time now. Bizarre tales by most of those who thought they had heard voices or walked within those empty rooms and never knew anyone. A year, even years now, since that old house has become deserted. But to Sarah, who was an adventurous person, this was her attraction. She went there to check it out. As she sat parked in front of the house, the fog appeared to thicken around her. The house seemed ancient, dark, and lifeless. Windows and the overgrown yard made it even more haunting. And the front door, it creaked open by itself as if welcoming her in. A chill ran down Sarah's spine, but her curiosity got the better of her. She stepped out of the car, walked up to the door, and entered. The moment she walked inside, it felt as though the air inside was thick. The silence oppressed her. Dust coated everything. The peeling wallpaper on the walls added to the eerily deserted feeling throughout the entire house. She fought the notion that the house felt alive and like it was watching her, but something just was not right with this place. She floated through the house, room after room, until she got up to the door of the basement. It was just there, standing as if waiting for her. She didn't know why, but she felt an invitation. She stretched out and touched the handle of the door, then she heard something. The sound was light, almost like someone breathing. She knew it was coming from downstairs. Curious and nervous, Sarah opened the door and descended into the basement. The air was damp and only the weak beam of her flashlight lit up the space. And that's when she saw it. Something moved in the corner. A shadow. A figure. A man standing still, staring at her with eyes that she couldn't see clearly, hidden in the darkness. She froze. Her heart thumped in her chest. Then came the voice. It was low, but it resonated deep in the chilly silence of the basement. "You shouldn't have come here." She wanted to run, but she could not get her legs moving. Suddenly the temperature plunged. She could see her breath. A cold chill climbed up the nape of her neck as she turned, or at least tried to, in an effort to retreat down the stairs. But the door shut too hard to open, locked. Her breath quickened as she fumbled for the door, but it wouldn't open. The basement lights flickered, and in the dim light she saw him moving closer. Slowly. He was no longer in the corner, but standing right behind her. The man whispered again, but this time his voice was more sinister. "You'll never leave." Panic. Sarah spun round and sprinted for the door, but it wouldn't budge. No matter how hard she pushed at it, she couldn't move it. The room closed in on her. She felt a chill as if the temperature plummeted further. She was frozen with fear. Then out of the blackness she heard his breathing, just inches behind her. She screamed, but it didn't do anything. The next day all was quiet as before in the house. The fog had disappeared and the sun barely rose above the horizon. Sarah's car had been parked outside, but she was not there either. Locals had heard stories about it. Now they realized it was true. Sarah had disappeared like others before her.